It's only been a few days since Danny Rowe stepped through the doors at Ibrox, but the atmosphere around Rangers is already starting to shift. And it's not just talk, players are feeling it too. Midfielder Theo Asgard has pulled back the curtain on the early impressions left by the German boss. And if what he's saying is anything to go by, things are about to get a whole lot more serious at Rangers Football Club. Asgard didn't sugarcoat it. From the moment Rowe arrived, there's been a clear elevation in intensity, professionalism, and standards. Behind the scenes, the Norwegian playmaker described an approach that's both demanding and refreshing. It's not just tactics and training drills, it's a mentality. And it's one that's already filtering through the squad. The message is simple. Playing for Rangers is a privilege, and with that comes responsibility. Now, before we dive deeper into what Asgard had to say, it's worth setting the stage. This week marks Rowe's first match in charge, a Europa League away fixture against Brann Bergen. And make no mistake, it's a tough start. Former Rangers and Brann midfielder Charlie Miller was quick to sound the alarm, warning that the Norwegians are no pushovers. They're third in their domestic league, coming off strong performances, and have recent European wins under their belt. Add to that the fact Rowe only had a single training session with his squad, and it becomes crystal clear, this is trial by fire. Miller knows both clubs well, having made over 50 appearances for each, and he's not underestimating the challenge awaiting Rangers on Norwegian soil. He even went as far as to say that Rowe probably wouldn't have chosen this game as his debut if he had a say. But football rarely waits for anyone to settle in. The new boss has to hit the ground running, and with a fanbase already disillusioned by a stuttering season, there's very little margin for error. But while pressure can break some, others thrive in it, and Asgard seems determined to be in the latter group. After arriving from Luton Town during the summer, the midfielder has had to adapt quickly to the demands of life in Glasgow. And it hasn't been easy. The season so far has been anything but smooth. Rangers have struggled for consistency, dropped points they shouldn't have, and suffered through performances that left the stands echoing with boos rather than cheers. Russell Martin's reign was short-lived for a reason. The results simply weren't good enough. Now, it's up to Rowe to steady the ship and bring belief back to a restless support. Asgard scored his first goal for the club in a roller-coaster draw with Dundee United, a game that in many ways encapsulated the wider issues at Rangers. A dominant first half gave way to a chaotic second, and what should have been a comfortable win turned into another frustrating afternoon. A late equalizer saved the blushes, but it was clear the problems ran deep. And that's why Rowe's arrival, and his approach, matters so much right now. Speaking candidly ahead of the Brann clash, Asgard touched on the key differences between the previous regime and the new one. Martin's methods, he said, were unique. Perhaps a diplomatic way of saying they didn't quite work. In contrast, Rowe is placing a huge emphasis on intensity, discipline, and structure. And that's already changing the way players see their roles on the pitch. Asgard admitted that his standout performance against Dundee might have been helped by a slight shift in positioning and mindset, giving him more freedom to operate closer to the box, something that seems to be encouraged under Rowe's system. But this isn't just about tactics. For Asgard, there's a deeper connection forming with the club and the fans. He spoke passionately about what it means to wear the shirt, calling it an honor every time he steps on the pitch. And while he admits the pressure can be overwhelming, he also says he's starting to embrace it. That right there is what supporters want to hear. Passion, commitment, and players who understand that finishing second in Scotland isn't an achievement. It's a failure. It's also telling that Asgard sees the recent international break as a blessing in disguise. A chance to reset, regroup, and prepare for what feels like a fresh start under new leadership. He's not hiding from the fact that results have been disappointing, both for him personally and for the team as a whole. But there's a sense that something is shifting, that the group is ready to move forward, with Rowe at the helm, demanding more from everyone. And make no mistake, Rowe is demanding. The former Sheffield Wednesday man has quickly started to shape the narrative at Ibrox. In his first media appearances, he spoke with clarity and conviction about Rangers' traditions, the weight of the badge, and the expectations that come with managing one of the most scrutinized clubs in European football. That alone earned him a few nods of approval, including from former player Barry Ferguson, who interviewed for the job himself in the summer. Ferguson highlighted Rowe's willingness to immerse himself in the club's culture as a crucial first step. For fans, that matters. They want a manager who understands the DNA of the club, not just someone passing through. But understanding the club's past is only part of the job. The real test comes on the pitch. And with the fixture list offering no favors, Rowe has no choice but to adapt quickly. Ferguson spoke about the importance of flexibility, of not being wedded to one system or one style. In Scotland, where games can swing on a muddy pitch or a moment of madness, that pragmatism is essential. And according to those who've worked with Rowe before, adaptability is one of his strongest traits. He's not afraid to change things when needed, and that alone could make a world of difference at Ibrox. What's clear is that the players are buying in. Even those who've had rocky starts, like Asgard, are talking about growth, progress, and belief. That doesn't mean everything will click overnight. There will be bumps along the way. But when you hear a player speak about Rangers with the kind of pride and urgency Asgard has, it gives you hope. Hope that the dressing room still has fire in it. Hope that the standards are rising again. This trip to Bergen is more than just a European fixture. It's the start of a new chapter. A chapter where Rangers can no longer afford to coast, can no longer live off reputation. Results have to improve. Performances need to be sharper, braver, more purposeful. And with Rowe setting the tone and players like Asgard responding, there's finally a sense that something is starting to click, even if it's just the beginning. As much as all eyes will be on Danny Rowe and how he handles the pressure of his first match in charge, there's a bigger story brewing here. And that's whether this Rangers side is truly ready to turn the page. Because one good half of football, a promising new manager, and a few hopeful words from a player won't be enough to change what's been a season full of underachievement. This is a club used to competing for everything. Now, they're scrapping for momentum, looking for confidence, and hoping that this new chapter isn't just another false dawn. Theo Asgard's words carry weight because they come from someone who's had to earn his place. He's not been one of the automatic picks, and his journey hasn't exactly been smooth. When he first arrived from Luton Town, many fans didn't know what to expect. He came in quietly, but now he started to show signs of the player Rangers hoped they were getting. That goal against Dundee United felt like a release, not just for him, but for a team that's been crying out for someone to take charge, to spark something. He admitted it came later than he wanted, but what matters now is that it came at all, and that he uses that moment to build something more consistent. There's a sense of accountability in how Asgard speaks. He's not hiding behind excuses or pointing fingers. He knows the results haven't been good enough and owns his part in that. But he also talks about growth, about learning to cope with the pressure of playing for Rangers, and that's crucial. Because this isn't just another club. The weight of history here is real, and not every player can carry it. Some fold, some fade, but others, if given the right environment, rise to meet it. That's what Rowe has to find now. Which of these players are truly built for it? The interesting thing about Rowe's arrival is that while he's a fresh face, he's already being talked about as someone who gets it. He might not have Scottish roots, and he might not have played here, but he's done his homework. When he speaks about the club, he's not just reeling off cliches. He talks about standards, about expectations, and about the privilege of being in the position he's in. That matters. Not just to the fans, but to the players as well. Because if there's one thing Rangers can't afford right now, it's another manager who treats this like a stepping stone. Rowe's first training sessions, short as they've been, have apparently set the tone. Intensity, structure, urgency, that's the feedback coming out of the camp. He wants the ball to move quicker, wants players to press higher, to make decisions with more purpose. It's not about reinventing the wheel, but about doing the basics at a much higher level. That's something that had clearly been missing. Too often under the previous regime, Rangers looked like a team without identity. Possession without penetration, tactics without conviction. And it showed in the results. That's why this game against Brann is more than just a Europa League tie. It's a test of character. The Norwegians are no strangers to big nights. They're organized, they're physical, and they're more than capable of causing problems, especially against a team still finding its feet. Rowe might not have had enough time to implement his full game plan, but what fans will want to see is a shift in attitude. A team that plays with purpose. A team that looks like it understands what's at stake. That's the real litmus test right now. Former captain Barry Ferguson hit the nail on the head when he said Rowe needs to tap into the essence of Rangers. It's about more than tactics. It's about fight, resilience, and the refusal to accept anything less than victory. Ferguson, like many others, is willing to back the new manager, but he's also right in saying that the proof will come on the pitch. And if Rowe wants to win over the Ibrox crowd, he'll need to show that he can adapt. Scottish football isn't easy. It's physical, it's fast, and the opposition never makes it simple. Managers need more than one plan. They need to be ready to change, to adjust, and to outthink opponents on the fly. That's what separates the good from the great. Not just knowing your system, but knowing when to abandon it. And according to players Rowe's worked with before, he has that in his locker. He's not afraid to make bold decisions mid-game. That adaptability could prove vital in a league where teams love to sit deep at Ibrox and make life difficult. The ability to break down low blocks, to deal with tighter pitches and hostile crowds away from home. That's where the points are won and lost. It's also worth noting the mood in the dressing room. From the outside, it's been easy to assume things are fractured. Results haven't gone their way. The fans are frustrated, and the previous manager clearly lost the dressing room at some point. But if players like Isgard are speaking with this kind of honesty and optimism, it suggests something different. It suggests that the group hasn't given up, that they're still willing to fight. And that's the foundation Rowe needs to build on. The fans, meanwhile, are watching closely. They've seen this movie before, new manager bounce, followed by the same old problems. What they want now is substance. They want a team that plays like it understands the privilege of wearing the badge. A team that doesn't just talk about standards, but shows them. That's what will get Ibrox back on side. Not marketing slogans or training ground videos. Just performances, wins, desire. And while Rowe might be a new face, the challenge he's taken on is an old one. Bringing Rangers back to where they belong isn't just about winning games. It's about re-establishing an identity. That starts with attitude, with work rate, and with setting the kind of example that young players like Isgard can follow. If he gets that right, then the tactical side will come together naturally. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers have been swirling through the corridors of Ibrox, and it seems the speculation has finally materialized. Scott McKenna, the rugged heart of Aberdeen's defense, has reportedly put pen to paper with Rangers. Sources close to the matter are hinting that the signing could signal a seismic shift in the Scottish Premiership's defensive landscape, with McKenna set to fortify the Gers backline like never before. The 26-year-old, known for his towering presence and uncompromising tackling, has long been linked with a move to Glasgow, yet few expected the deal to come to fruition so swiftly. Rangers fans have taken to social media in droves, speculating on how the former Aberdeen captain will slot into Giovanni van Bronckhorst's tactical blueprint. The consensus? McKenna isn't just a reinforcement, he's a statement. Talk in the pubs and online forums has been dominated by his potential partnership with James Tavernier and Calvin Bassey. Could this trio finally give Rangers the steel and consistency that has eluded them in European nights? Pundits are already buzzing about how McKenna's aerial prowess and defensive leadership might allow the Gers to dominate set pieces, while his ability to read the game could prove crucial against Celtic in those fiercely contested Old Firm clashes. Insiders suggest that the deal has been in the works for months, with Rangers reportedly beating off interest from English Championship sides who were eager to lure McKenna south of the border. While the financial details remain under wraps, the murmurs around Ibrox point to a contract that rewards both loyalty and performance, signaling that the club sees him as a long-term cornerstone. Of course, nothing is ever certain in football. Injuries, form, and last-minute twists are par for the course. But if the rumor holds water, Rangers supporters may soon witness a defensive transformation at Ibrox, with McKenna emerging not just as a player, but as a symbol of ambition and resilience. As the summer unfolds, all eyes will remain fixed on Glasgow, with the buzz around Scott McKenna growing louder by the day. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.